What's the biggest story on your mind? Like, if you were an editor, what would you tell a guy going there tomorrow? This is the story you're following on day one.
Oh, wow. I mean, there's so many places to go. I feel like the biggest one is just a matter of asking around and asking guys, do you think that you've got enough here to win? And I think that goes without saying, given all the ballyhooed hype that's been around the Pirates free agency or relative lack thereof, right? I mean, this is not an organization that went outside of Pittsburgh, went outside the organization to get help. So, you're going to get a lot of cliche canned answers from guys, and, you would expect nothing less. But is this team good enough on paper to compete in the NL Central when other teams like the Cubs have gotten drastically better, bringing in guys like Kyle Tucker? The Reds got better, and they're going to be healthier, and they're going to have better pitching than they had last year. The Brewers are the Brewers. Yeah, they'll probably take a step back without Willy Adames, but the question has to be, did they do enough to make this team better? And on paper, if off seasons are the litmus test for if a team is going to be good, the Pirates didn't do enough, right? I think we would all be on the same page about that. This is not a team that made huge tangible jumps externally to make the team better. So the biggest storyline to me is, hey, did this team really get better? Do they think they have enough in here? And if so, why? Give us some tangible reasons why.
Yeah, man. I think I would make a beeline for Skeens and say something like, would it be fair to characterize you as disappointed in the team's offseason additions, or not in their additions, but in the team's activity, level of activity this offseason? And might such things impact whether you're willing to stay here long term? That's a good question now that I say it, Destiny's Child.
Yeah, sounds like a column is brewing from Joe Starkey.
What do you think with Skeens? If you injected the guy with truth serum, you think he's happy with this offseason?
I got to be honest, I'm not one to speak on Paul's behalf, but if you were to inject him with truth serum, I think that the answer would be that he is supremely confident in the group that they do have here. And I think that's most specific to the pitching side, because I don't think it's smoke and mirrors that this group, Skeens, Jones, Keller, et cetera, these guys do think that they have something special on the pitching side. And I'm not here to, put on a fan hat and say that I fully agree 110%, but I think there's some truth to it. I think that if you look at the rotation, you look at the guys they have waiting in the minor leagues, that at least on the pitching side, you've got a ton to be excited about. We've seen it in Major League Baseball history, whether it's a 2010 Giants team or you go back earlier than that. There are teams that can be very successful strictly on the heels of really good pitching and not a whole lot on the hitting side. So they probably need a lot more than they demonstrated in 24 or 23 from the hitting group. But I think if you asked a guy like Skeens, he'd say, hey, we're comfortable winning games 2-1, winning games 3-2. And I think the pitching staff is good enough to do that. It's just a matter of it can stay healthy, if the bullpen can hold up its end of the bargain. So, I'm not one to say whether or not he'd be disappointed, but I think they do believe they have something special on the pitching side.
It sounds to me like you're more optimistic than most, Andrew. Are you picking a winning season, a playoff spot? What do you think's in store? What's your prediction?
I'm going to sound like a broken record, but 79-83, just like the last year. I picked them to be a slightly below 500 team. They ended up meeting short of those expectations a little bit because of myriad reasons. I just don't see them finishing any higher than third or fourth, really. Maybe they could be a 500 team. Maybe they could squeak into a wild card picture, but I look at it as truly, I think it's less to do about the Pirates as it is more what did the other teams in the division do?